Have you ever had moments in life where you're like, is that it? Is this it? That maybe during times of, well, maybe during good times, or during when things are going okay, or things when they're not going okay. But I can guarantee that most of you have had a moment in life where you've been feeling like you're just in an endless loop. Or you're like, well, is this all there is? Well, you're certainly not alone. And these are big philosophical questions to grapple with. But it's also a symptom that you're discontent about something. And discontentment is a difficult thing, especially when we attach it to guilt, when we feel like we have everything we need: food security, water, clothes, a place to live. Right, we live in a first world country, all these things, so that when we feel discontent, we start to tie it to a feeling of guilt, like we're not doing something right. And this can happen most of all during identity shifts. And it's usually once we've just settled into a new identity, and I've talked about this in a recent video, and you've been expecting something else, but all it has been is a little, well, under your expectations. But even more common, this discontent happens when we lose our sense of purpose, or when we forget it, or when our current purpose becomes less relevant. For example, you might have been a parent for the last 25 years, but then your last kid has grown up and moved out, and all of a sudden you're questioning, oh, is this all there is? You may even start to look back at the last 25 years and go, wow, I have some regrets, or I wish I did more of this, or I wish I spent more time with my kids, or I wish I modelled this better as a parent. And all of a sudden, you're dwelling in the past and starting to feel really discontent. Look at this, guys. The Carillion. We're nearly there. Wow. That's a beautiful Carillion. Now, this is where reassessment starts to happen. This is where you start to reassess your life. And I mentioned this in my last video, but now I'm going to go into some more depth about what that means. Here we are. Wow. It's not an amazing piece of architecture. Almost there. Done. Now, maybe I should put some paint on my hand and put my handprint on the Carillion. No, just kidding. Don't tell the National Capital Authority I said that. So sometimes you need to take a long, hard look at yourself and your life, and have a look at the past few months or so, maybe even a few years. But if you haven't done this in a while, now's a good time. Can you see the Carillion behind me? That's so cool. And taking this long, hard look at yourself involves being honest with your past, and then determining what your future will be. And while you can't control all events in your life, you can control the choices you make into the person you'll become. Now, there's an old saying that says, you will be the same person in the next 5 years, apart from the books you read and the people you meet. If you regularly congregate with the same people, you're going to become the average of those people. Right, I've been at uni the last 3 years, and at uni I've started to hang out with all the composers, and so we're becoming like-minded and like each other with the ideas that we're sharing. And there'll come a point where we all graduate, and then we all go our different ways, and then the next 3 to 5 years we'll become different people again. Maybe we meet someone, fall in love and get married, and we become more like them. And it's a time to reassess who you're spending time with, or what you're spending time with. Because it's not just people who change us, right? It's a magpie. It's not just people who change us. It's our lifestyles, our habits, and the one that people don't think about much but I preach all the time on my brick phone videos, where I film every video on my brick phone. One of the huge things that changes us is our smartphones and technology habits. And we don't realise it, because it's like a boiling frog. There's an old saying that says if you boil a frog, the frog won't even notice it's about to die. It's because the water heats up so slowly. It's just an imperceptible difference every now and then, that by the time the water's boiling, the frog has got used to the last temperature change, so it doesn't even know anything's wrong, and so it doesn't bother jumping out of the pot. Now, I don't know if this is actually true, but it's a great analogy to think about how technology shapes us and changes us, because we become so complacent, we don't realise that spending an extra minute on Instagram, or making the choice to do that, is reinforcing a habit that just means we're giving more and more of our life in slavery to our technology. When I was about 15 or 16, I decided that I was going to quit watching porn. And it's because I had realised it was becoming addictive and an uncontrollable behaviour in my life. Well, that was a hard thing, right? It actually took me like several years after that choice before I have started to be consistently clean and transparent with my behaviour. And right, being comfortable to say I fully quit and I'm never looking at porn again. When I was about 17 was when a real reassessment of my life happened. And I had just woken up to the fact, and basically left the matrix, because I'd woken up to the fact that these smartphones were ruining people's lives. And that's when the even bigger change happened. I quit using a smartphone and I got a brick phone. And that was about 4 years ago now. And it was the best decision, or one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Getting rid of my smartphone and changing to a brick phone. And after that I had a breakthrough. Quitting porn became so much easier because I wasn't carrying a smartphone with access to porn all the time in my pocket. It's like, if you are a smoker trying to quit smoking, then don't carry a packet of cigarettes in your pocket, because you'll always be tempted. They'll always be there, right? It's the same thing if you're trying to quit social media, or quit pornography, or quit something else. Don't carry your smartphone in your pocket. Don't carry your phone around. Don't bring your phone to bed. Don't do these things, because you're just constantly limiting yourself and making it hard for you to quit anything, when the thing you're trying to quit is right there. Because then when moments of temptation come, it's going to take you 2 seconds to go back to doing that thing that you're trying to avoid. Same thing if you're trying to quit sugar. Don't keep sugar and donuts and chocolate in your house. Right, make it hard for yourself to access. Guys, with these videos, I'm starting to feel like a broken record, right? I hope you get my message by now. As you know, pretty much all my videos are saying the exact same thing. Every single one of my videos says something along the lines of, if you want big change or breakthrough in your life, to get back all the time that has been stolen from you, and for true freedom, 1, follow Jesus, and 2, give up your smartphones. You know, do these 2 things and you'll live. Right? That's the message I'm just constantly saying, right? If you want there to be big change in your life, you have to make the big change and the choice to switch from a smartphone to a brick phone. And the time to reassess is now. Reassess your life. Look back at the 6 months, maybe your last uni semester or something, and just ask yourself, what are the things I did well? What are the things I could have done better? And what are the things I could improve on? And just write down a list of these things, and then ask yourself, if I were to relive this semester again, what would I do differently? And then do that for this semester. And if you want the change, you have to actually do the change. And this is where reassessing becomes so important. Because a lot of people don't realise that their life is going in a particular direction because of the easy slippery slope, the comfortable slope, the frog boiling. makes them complacent about their behaviours, their actions, their choices, and the people they choose to spend time with. And most importantly, we become complacent with the way we use technology these days because it's just everywhere. Right? You walk onto a bus and you sit down, look around you. I can guarantee you about 90% of people are just on their phones. Maybe they've got their AirPods and they're just scrolling through their social media feed or texting people, right? That's what our world has become. If you want to be different to 90% of people, you've got to get rid of your smartphone, guys. It's the same bloody message every time. Okay, forgive my swearing, guys. It's on a bit of a rant now, right? The same message I'm giving with every video is get rid of your smartphone. They claim you're alive. You were made for much more than this. Alright. Until next time, guys. Stay safe and stay sane.